Hey listeners, welcome to Mouthful of Toast, episode 3, our new Otakon Blowout special episode. Welcome to the show. I am Tim, one of your hosts, and we have Carrie.
Hello.
And we have Ian over Skype.
Hello.
So guys, Otakon.
Otakon happened.
I think we're all still in recovery mode right now.
Yeah, very.
We are.
You might be able to hear it in my voice, but yeah, it's. I'm feeling it still.
We all had 9 to 5 jobs to go back to today, right?
Yeah, I had to open my store.
All right. Okay.
And we all wanted to record tonight. It's great.
Yeah, no, we planned this out very well.
Did we listen to our con survival tips from last podcast? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know.
I didn't.
Yeah, I may have forgotten a few key ones.
I forgot all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I managed to escape with only like one huge blister on my feet, so that was good. I thought I could get out without it like popping, and then like it did that gross thing where it popped inside of my shoe.
No. How many
way,
listeners did we just lose?
On the way to meet my boyfriend, who was kind enough to come get me on Sunday afternoon.
Kind.
I think we just earned the NSFW.
Yeah.
Just like the
Yeah.
trigger warning.
Trigger
Blisters.
warning. Gross blister talk.
Well, we're here now, which means that we are all alive to some extent.
Yes.
And for those listeners who are starting to get used to our format of, talking different new series and, talking about different theme, not so much this episode. This is going to be more so just focused on interesting news from Otakon, our perspectives on Otakon, and then our next episode will really delve into a lot of other anime series. So it may be a little bit of a shake up this episode, but
yeah. I definitely checked out some new stuff at Otakon, so we'll definitely touch on some stuff that we hadn't seen before, stuff that we had checked out, but not so much the focus this episode.
Yeah.
So bear with us and let us know what you think about our format experiments. We're still new. We're still trying to get all of our information out to you, so please let us know after you're done listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and for those of you who are joining us after finding one of our lovely business cards at the convention, welcome. I know we've already gotten a couple new likes on the Facebook page through those business cards. I know a lot of people were listening to us on their way home from the convention on long road trips.
Yeah.
Thank you for going back and listening to our first 2 episodes, and we hope you stick around.
Also, you may have noticed, you may be coming from one of our video interviews from the con. So Dante Bosco was nice enough to give some time to Carrie and a few other interviewers, talk a bit about his background with acting and all that. And also Wendy Lee, if you've never heard of her, she's a huge, part of the anime industry in America.
If you haven't heard of Wendy Lee, you're probably not actually watching any anime.
You're not paying attention to the credits at this point because she's directed, she's written, she's acted, she's all over anime. So we have
and video games.
Yeah. She's all over the industry. So we have Carrie also got a great interview with her as well.
Yeah, she was a total sweetheart. So by the time you're listening to us, that video interview will be on YouTube as well. So check that out.
Yeah, hopefully you're coming from that, or yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting that both voice actors are most famous for voicing Shrek in the first movie. Do you know that?
I
think that's...
I believe that's Mike Myers.
I don't know. All right. My Shrek movie database might be correct.
Shrek is my favorite anime, but and Dante Bosco may not be technically anime with his Avatar background, but it's still very valid. Like Otakon invited him to come because he's been really growing in the public eye, and we figured close enough. And he is a great. I'm so glad.
Great
we got
personality, total sweetheart. Really glad we had the opportunity to chat with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, how have you guys been outside of just con prep? What's going on in your lives?
Winding back up for grad school myself. I've got one more semester left, and then I will have my master's degree in professional writing.
You're so close,
very glad to almost be done with that. Otherwise, not a whole lot. Just kind of the day-to-day grind, working retail. It sucks.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot how to live my regular life when coming back from Otakon. Oh my god. I slept through my alarm.
Oh no.
Went to work. Thought about anime all day. Like, it's not out of my system. And now I'm here. So at least I can get out my anime thoughts that way.
Yeah.
Preparing to open up a Shakespeare show that I'm in for a little theater startup in DC. So that has been taking up my time, but I've set some time aside, of course, to record our lovely podcast. Hooray!
Hooray!
Good. In the vein of acting, actually, I've been taking an improv class every Tuesday with Baltimore Improv Group, and it's winding down. And our next week, we're going to have a little showcase of, look at what we did. It's a little class. We learned how to improv. So I've been able to get into that again, which is really fun. And I'm working my job, and making time for video games and anime, because I'm all about. I started the free trial of Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn, and I was just.
Jeez.
It's so beautiful. My character's name is Catboy Genius. I hope anyone appreciates that reference. But I don't know if I'm keeping it. We'll see. But yeah, we've got a lot of other stuff going on, but we really want to make this podcast thrive. So
Yeah. Somehow we managed to fit in time for podcast.
Absolutely.
So awesome. So before we get into news, we wanted to once again remind you of our Crunchyroll program. So Crunchyroll has a premium membership. It is very affordable. They have multiple plans. So you can get a premium membership to Crunchyroll through our website. All you have to do is go to mouthfuloftoast.com and find the Crunchyroll ad on our sidebar. It clicks you through right to their membership sign-up page. It doesn't cost you any extra, but we get a little bit off of that membership fee to help us pay for things like hosting and software, and it allows us to continue to produce this show without having to go super in the red.
Yeah.
So please check that out. And Crunchyroll Premium's a fantastic service. So
as a member, it's awesome. I'm really enjoying the huge selection they have, and discounts on figures.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's great. But
Quite relevant to you.
yeah, let's move right into a little bit of news before we get into just full Otakon talk. But there was some stuff that happened in the past 2 weeks. Carrie, why don't you just...
Oh my god.
This is all her.
Okay, so on Odaiba Memorial Day, August 1st.
What is that?
It's the anniversary of when the original Chosen Children went to the digital world. Digimon.
Okay.
Digimon. So
You could have been talking about a cult there for a
yeah,
minute.
I know. So Digimon. So as
Close
part
enough.
of the 15th anniversary event, they announced that the characters of the original Digimon Adventure are returning next spring. There was a trailer that had clips from the very last episode of the original Digimon Adventure, which just always just like sends me into tears. And so they said Taichi will be back. He will be 17 years old in high school with Agumon. The sequel will tell a new story for all of the Digidestined in the world. So yeah, I am...
You're pretty hyped.
Words don't exist for how
She is
incredibly
pretty hyped.
overwhelmed I was by this. Now, it would have been one thing for them to just been like, hey, we're doing a new season of Digimon. Like, I would have been super excited for that anyway, because I've always been excited about new Digimon announcements.
Sure.
But for them to be like, hey, so we're going back to Adventure, which, you know, spanned 2 series, really, Adventure and then 02, which was, I think, 3 years after the first Adventure. And now they're coming back, and it's like another 3 or 4 years after 02 happened. And I'm just like, nostalgia feelings. And I was like, you know, I had to open my store that day, and I'm like reading the news on my phone and just like in tears and just like sitting on the floor and just being like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. So
What was it? The 15th anniversary or
Yeah.
something? Okay. Wow, 15 years.
yeah, that's hard to think about. 15 years of
Yeah.
Digimon.
It's pretty interesting. Oh my god! Like I'm definitely going to be in line to watch this new season too, because like the nostalgia hits me a little less than it does Carrie. I think I don't think
Same.
I'm in tears right now. I think I'm pretty straight faced. But I mean, Digimon was. I remember just coming home from school and watching Digimon. I really liked Digimon, and apparently, like, I mean, I haven't gone back to revisit the series or anything like that, but
Right.
I still have memories of the arcs. What I now know is that Narnia reference with the time dilation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that makes sense. And just like seeing this franchise, like just any franchise that brings back nostalgia, like being brought back for something new, like that's always exciting.
Yeah. Now there is a website set up for Digimon Adventure. Off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure what that is, but I'm sure you can find it. And on that website, there's a digi-egg, there's
Yeah.
a digitama, and if you click it, it goes nade nade, which just means rub. And after the digi-egg has been rubbed enough times, it will hatch, and then we will get more information about this series. Presumably a plot synopsis, maybe some character designs. I'm really hoping for character designs so that I can immediately start working on that cosplay.
Oh man.
And so once the egg hatches, I'm sure we'll revisit this story. But also out of the 15th anniversary event, they announced a 15th anniversary Blu-ray box set for the first season, which, in case you forgot, was 54 fucking episodes long.
Whoa.
It's a long one. Yeah.
So the first copies, like the first edition, will also include a new drama CD that releases in March. They will also be doing a Blu-ray box set of the Digimon movies, which will, I think, go all the way through all the stuff that they did through Frontier as well. But they're also going to include the Digimon Grand Prix and the Digimon Savers, like 3D CGI stuff. Which I know I'm the only person who watched it as far as the three of us go, but they were pretty cool.
I had no idea this was the Digimon episode now, because there's just so much stuff coming out for Digimon. We can just do a whole Digimon episode.
I am 100% on board with that. I'm still watching Tamers on Netflix myself. So,
Okay.
but yeah,
Right.
this trailer, definitely watch it. Like once the chorus to Butterfly, which is the original opening to Digimon Adventure, kicks in, I was just like,
Whoa.
oh no. So yes, that's very exciting. And now we can stop talking about Digimon.
All right.
It's all right. It's your passion.
Good episode. We're all done here.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
We weren't going to talk about anything else, really.
No.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there is something, because we've been talking in the last few episodes about Studio Ghibli, and we've had a lot of theories like, oh, maybe this will give rise to other director, like Miyazaki stepping down. We're gonna. The other movie didn't do so hot, but things will turn around. Things are good. There was some sort of announcement in Japan from them directly saying that they are restructuring, which initially a lot of Western sources interpreted as Studio Ghibli is closing.
No way.
Put the gravestone up. And that's not the case. It was actually Kotaku who broke the news that we had misinterpreted it, and I felt kind of embarrassed by that, actually. But it's just basically, it's not a big deal in Japan, so it shouldn't be a big deal to us. But just so you know, Studio Ghibli, they're working on some stuff right now. They're restructuring how their company works, and it may be a little while before another movie comes out. Who knows exactly what it means for us right now, but just thought we'd keep you guys updated.
The chance that they close is still very much a real thing, I think. Like, it's always going to be something that might happen with them right now, but there are just so many different paths that this might take. And in the end, like, I think it's just we just gotta wait and see what all the artists still employed by them do. Like, will the next Ghibli movie feel like a Ghibli movie? I think that's the more important question than what happens to Studio Ghibli.
Right. We want those creators to be, creating sincerely and working towards whether or not they're under that label. And also, I will mention that a similar announcement was made. I found out that they, around the time Porco Rosso came out, there was a similar announcement of restructuring, and clearly that worked out fine for them.
Yes, because Porco Rosso came out in like the late 80s, early 90s. They were fine.
Yeah.
So restructuring doesn't necessarily mean ill omen. It's just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Yes.
But let's talk more about what we kept an eye on this weekend at Otakon.
Yes, a lot of announcements out of Otakon.
Ian, why don't you talk about this?
Well, first off, I think the best industry panel that we went to, Tim, we sat through a few of them, which, well, it's a lot easier to get the news after the fact for some of these panels.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
God, some of these were just so boring. But I have to say, this is the first time sitting on this panel, but I was pretty impressed with Funimation's presentation. They showed off a lot of really well-cut trailers, a lot of good dubs, and, well, the big announcement, I think the biggest for me and for a lot of people, is that Cowboy Bebop is finally getting released on a Region 1 Blu-ray. Like, thank God.
Yes.
This was one of the things that's been, like, if this ever came out, I would get a Blu-ray player. And, well, I got it in my Amazon, cart right now, and I cannot wait. Oh, jeez.
Ready to go.
So, yeah, DVD Standard Edition, Blu-ray Standard Edition, Amazon exclusive, and Funimation exclusive, both of which have different exclusives to them. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, two different premium editions.
Yeah.
Which is sort of frustrating to think about because I know, when I was first really getting into anime, I was watching a lot of Bebop on like late night, Toonami stuff and whatnot. And I probably am going to want the stuff from both premium editions. Like, why?
God,
why must you do this to me?
Yeah, I just want to figure out a way just to, please, just which one will be better. I don't know. I don't know if I'll get both. Like, if there's one anime series I go gaga over, it might just be Cowboy Bebop is the number one. Yeah, foam at the mouth and everything.
Now,
need this.
We need a Cowboy Bebop episode as well. We'll have a Digimon episode, Cowboy Bebop episode.
Cowboy Bebop.
We need to focus on themes, just series, and just be like, oh, it's so good.
Oh my god. Yeah. But that is huge news. And now on to lesser news about Funimation, I guess, because, everything's going to pale a bit in comparison to Cowboy Bebop. Sure.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some other stuff that's pretty important anime-wise. They picked up the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, both seasons, and I think... Did they mention the movie?
Haruhi-chan and Chiruya-san. But they basically picked up like half of the Kadokawa catalog. So they've got a ton of Haruhi, Lucky Star, Strike Witches, and then the Steins Gate film.
Mostly bringing some pretty big titles back from the
break, like Lucky Star, Haruhi, Steins Gate. Those are all pretty major titles.
Yeah, I'd say so. And Strike Witch is clearly my favorite series.
Well, we'll have a Strike Witches episode too. You can do that alone.
that'll be.
You can do that in your room by yourself with the lights off.
Me rambling about girls with jet legs and panties. I haven't.
Well, let's. Oh God.
Disclaimer.
We should do an episode about that.
Disclaimer: I haven't actually watched Strike Witches. Let me just put that out there. I don't want this to be like, oh, Tim's the weird guy who watches yaoi series and panty girls all the time. Like this is his jam. That's not me.
To quickly summarize, Strike Witches takes place in a world where women are always just at the pubescent level, and pants don't exist in this universe.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah.
Sure, someone's taste. Not mine. Lots of jokes, big funnies.
I think you've salvaged your character enough.
I don't know if I have. I have to keep talking about it, obviously.
All right. Other major titles, Funimation. You can check out the link in the show notes because it's just series after series after series after series. Major ones, Black Butler. That's how I feel about Black Butler. I know it's pretty popular.
I heard Book of Circus is good.
Whatever.
Blaze Blue, Alter Memory.
Of the dub announcements, I'd say that Ghost in the Shell Arise dubcast was the most exciting to learn about. Yeah.
That's going to be
Which
cool.
I'm a big Ghost in the Shell fan. I haven't seen the Arise movies yet, but I did prefer watching Standalone Complex dubbed. And even though some of the cast is, changing around because it's set place technically in a different canon, they do tend to handle their Ghost in the Shell dubs just really, really well. So I'm pretty excited to see, this new iteration of that.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell, particularly for a franchise that has been around for so many years now, has always kind of been handled with like special care.
Yeah.
By the United States distributors. And not necessarily, anime related. Well, sort of. But Funko's doing Attack on Titan Pop final figures.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, the Pop series from Funko is just so immense at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you can go into like any store and find a Pop figure of something that you like. So with Attack on Titan being as enormous as it is right now, obviously they're going to do, the Colossal Titan.
Yeah.
So
they heard it's a bigger one than the usual one.
I think it is. Yeah,
that's what they announced.
It is a supersized Pop, which I've seen because as part of my internship, I work for a comic and toy distribution company.
Yeah.
So, I think I've seen the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man Super Pop. They're pretty big. So
Can they fight each other? Colossal Titan versus Stay Puft?
Oh my god!
Can you even imagine?
That sounds great.
That's the crossover I want. Make it happen, universe.
Pacific Rim 2.
Yes. So yeah, they're doing Eren, Titan Eren, Mikasa, and the Colossal Titan. Wouldn't surprise me if they did more, honestly.
Yeah.
So
Funimation brought their A game. They were slapping out announcements. They had all the big series too. Like the Big Shonen, Fairy Tail, One Piece. They had just crazy
so
representation.
Much.
It was
so much.
Funimation has so much stuff. Sometimes I forget that there are other anime companies.
Well, they're definitely like I really noticed how like so much more polished their presentation show is, because I guess they seem to be really one of the prime let's make these dubs good sort of American anime companies. And just look up those trailers for if any series that we've mentioned sounds good. Like, look up the trailers that Funimation has recut for their like DVD releases and dub releases and stuff.
They're trailers
really well done.
Their trailers are so they're accurate to each series too, and you can tell that they watch these series and they know what to do with them. And it's just like even like the more fan servicey series they do trailers for, like they have so much fun with them.
They're good trailers. Yeah,
they get great soundtracks, and it's just so fun. So hence Funimation. I'm gonna go.
Imagine that.
Tim is off the show now. Anyway, so yeah, Funimation really, really kicked it up a notch, and Otakon also had some interesting posters everywhere. And I had no idea what this was until I actually got home. Under the Dog.
Yeah.
What was that until?
Yeah, I would walk down a hallway and I would see another one of those tall posters, and I'd be like, so what is this? This looks interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what that is. So now we know what it is. It's a Kickstarter.
Yeah, if you were at Otakon, you saw the posters of the anime girl and it said Under the Dog, and you're like, what? She's not under a dog. What's going on?
Right.
It's a Kickstarter for a series by a lot of big names, and they're really hoping to raise
most
money.
of whom were at Otakon.
Oh, yeah.
Which then makes a lot of sense. So this is an incredible team. Masahiro Ando, Yusuke Kozaki, Jiro Ishii. Those three were at Otakon. Jiro Ishii in particular is more of a video game guy. But he's doing the story, like penning the story for this. It's also got Hiroaki Yura as the producer. So he worked on Haruhi, he worked on Steins Gate.
Well, let's just say the director, first off, was a key animator on like Evangelion.
Yeah, Ghost of Shell,
Yeah.
Wolf's Rain.
General
Huge
the Wolf
series.
Brigade.
Full
is a
Metal
wonderful
Alchemist.
movie. Yeah. Like everyone that is involved in this series is a big name for really good reasons.
Yeah.
Really good, different reasons too.
Yeah, I mean, the video game guys, I think we mentioned on the last episode, Yusuke Kazaki did character designs for No More Heroes and then Fire Emblem Awakening.
I love those games.
Yeah,
Designs are
Jiro
A+.
Ishii
Great
has
designs,
done
yeah.
work for Level 5 on like Dragon Quest and Professor Layton and
I think a lot of people are going to be really happy to hear because he produced 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, which huge buzz, huge visual novel series, huge crossover hit in that like DS visual novel series. That's really successful over here.
Yeah. And 999 was like one of the first like really big successes in the United States. I mean, relatively speaking, it's not like it sold
Sure.
like 2 billion copies or anything like
Yeah.
that, but
It's no Call of Duty.
yeah, but in terms of that genre, it really kind of brought it to the forefront. So
Really made a splash.
there is a video in this story. It's like 11 minutes long, so it's got the trailer for the series itself, and then interviews with everyone who we just mentioned. Now, the Kickstarter campaign has already hit $101,000.
Keep it up, though.
Yeah, so 26 days to go. It's got a ways to go. I mean, they're looking for $580,000.
It looks like a fun action series there from the trailer, and just like pure eye candy for at the very least.
Yeah.
From what we haven't seen any story details yet, but like it just looks like crazy chase sequences and like explosions, action, fun stuff everywhere. So
Yeah, in a time, particularly recently, where we have seen such quality animation from even big series, like Sailor Moon,
yeah.
like really wonky stuff.
Yeah.
This definitely looks like something I think people who at least have an appreciation for good visuals are going to be interested in.
Oh, definitely.
Right. Yeah.
But let's move on to another industry panel that Ian and I actually stopped by, the Anaplex USA panel.
I didn't have time to go to any of these panels, man.
You were doing the interviews.
Okay.
You were cosplaying, doing interviews.
You were being a lot more professional than we were. I think we mostly just sat and riffed about, oh, what's this horny series gonna be about? Oh, big boob girl? Hey, cool.
But I mean, like Anaplex had a few interesting announcements. I think the biggest one that they haven't mentioned anywhere else was Nisekoi. So they had a big release of that at Otakon.
So that's coming with that's a Blu-ray release.
Yes.
So, and that's coming with a ton of collectible stuff. Pinups, posters, special box, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So-
Anaplex, what they do best is have a ton of extra stuff with all of their releases.
Yeah.
And they had all the releases, for the most part, at Otakon. You could buy, they had these crazy, like, limited exclusives, like, for Madoka, they had, like, this, Lucifer Hamura.
They had the new Hamura figure from the movie.
Yeah.
They mentioned almost every DVD announcement or Blu-ray announcement was like, and you can pre-order this right after the panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
and,
come to our
Anaplex-
booth and give us money right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us all your money, basically, because, God. Anaplex, I love how their sets look, but they look that good because the price point they set it at will make you go bankrupt if you decide to buy just any fraction of their output.
Yeah, it's
God.
high price but high yield, I'd say.
Yeah.
But like they talked about Kill la Kill. They had a bit of the Kill la Kill trailer and all that, and just they sound phenomenal. The dub is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, dub is amazing.
Yeah. That's definitely
but yeah.
something Anaplex does really well, is like not fuck up the dub.
Yeah. They had they announced the Gurren Lagann movies Blu-ray. It was Blu-ray, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of cool stuff from Anaplex. We were just a little more impressed with Funimation's overall package, but like the few things that like caught our eye in Anaplex were like, okay, yeah, if I can afford that, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anaplex cases are always going to look really nice on your shelf.
Absolutely.
That's something. That is something.
Yeah, and I mean Nisekoi.
Did you watch Nisekoi?
I watched like the first couple episodes.
Okay.
Like it's as far as like the whole rom-com genre and anime goes, like it's pretty cute. So, not my thing, but definitely one of the better examples of that genre that's currently out there.
Right.
Great.
Well, it's no Digimon.
No, it's not Digimon. So,
It's not Digimon. It's not Cowboy Bebop.
So I
Why
am
the hell are we
watching-
talking about this? God damn it. Tim probably put this on the docket. Whoa.
Every story that just says not Digimon, do not read, Carrie.
yeah.
Trigger warning, not Digimon. Jeez.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess the last big industry thing was Crunchyroll.
Yes.
Yes.
Crunchyroll will be streaming the original Cardcaptor Sakura, which is pretty awesome.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It is pretty awesome. Yeah. Hey, Magical Girl series. Let's bring back all those lost ones while, making all the new ones, but we can't forget our roots. And Cardcaptor Sakura has to be just one of those top tier ones, really.
Cardcaptor Sakura, yes. Cardcaptors US, no.
Well, let's hope they bring that back too.
Oh man. So
Just as a history lesson.
and this is hitting
Yes.
this is hitting
Yeah.
Crunchyroll this week. So this
It'll probably be out by the time this episode's out.
yeah, by the time you're listening to this, you can purchase your Crunchyroll premium membership through our website and then go online and watch all 70 episodes of Cardcaptor Sakura in its
Wow.
original format.
Yeah.
In one evening.
Yes.
Just- that's
Let's
great.
do it. Yeah. Simultaneously, every episode at once.
Oh god.
You could do
Just
that.
unfocus your eyes and just land on each
That's
episode.
so much
Great.
clamp shoujo. Oh my.
If any
too
listeners make it through all of Cardcaptor Sakura by the end of this week, just let me know. Maybe we'll do another giveaway.
Are we trying to kill off
And
our
I will
listeners?
send you and I will send you my DVDs of Cardcaptor Sakura.
There you go. So you can watch it
Because
again
you've earned them. Yeah.
with a DVD player.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for news. A lot of exciting stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's some of the bigger announcements we saw at Otakon, and it was really good for that. I think Otakon's it's one of the biggest on the East Coast, I'd say.
It's currently the biggest on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
East Coast, right? Yeah.
Now, with the attendance cap, it's possible that I think ASEN might overtake in terms of sheer volume within the next couple of years. But I think once Otakon moves to DC in a few years, it's just going to blow up even more than it already has.
Yeah, for those
Do you know
who
how much?
don't
Do you know how much the attendance was for this year? Did it hit the cap?
It hit the
Like
cap,
the new
yeah.
cap that is.
From what I
Okay, so that
heard,
was
it not
40K
only
then?
hit the cap, but the cap got extended to 40,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I had heard too.
But I've heard a lot of mixed things about it, and there was a whole fiasco we'll get to in a little bit.
Yes, we will.
But for now, we also remind you, since we have a Crunchyroll affiliate program, we also have an Amazon affiliate program. If you're shopping on Amazon for any miscellaneous thing, like more anime DVDs, like you're just going to buy all the stuff that Funimation announced, make sure you go to mouthfuloftoast.com/Amazon before you make your purchase, fill up your shopping cart, no extra money, and we just get a little cut of it.
Yeah. It takes you to Amazon. You shop as normal. You don't pay anything extra. And you help us.
Yeah.
It helps pay for our second mansion at the.
As we record in a 2-bedroom apartment in Baltimore, Maryland.
I'm in a basement. It's even worse.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is the
abandoned house next door.
this is the help Ian get out of the basement fund.
Yes.
Yes.
Money goes directly to that.
Good Kickstarter.
Yeah, there we go. Next consider.
Yes.
All right.
So, before we get into full Otakon coverage, last week we had the question of the bye week.
Yes, sadly not as popular as our first question, but I think we had some good responses either way.
Yeah, so our question was, we're excited to see Gurren Lagann hit Adult Swim, and we still are. But what series would you like to see Toonami feature next? So, God damn it, Robbie. I work with him. And I'm sure the fact that I work with him spurred, like, he's one of my oldest convention friends, spurred him to answer Bible Black. Robbie, you're fired.
For those who know, this is hilarious. For those who do not know what Bible Black is, do not Google it at work.
It's one of the better known hentai anime, I think. Definitely one of the best known, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like when people are like joking about hentai, it's usually Bible Black
It's one of them.
that is brought up.
It's, we'll be covering it in our hentai special. Oh, wait, no.
Oh,
No.
easily.
We're not having one of those.
Wait.
No.
Oh, no, you guys trapped me. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God.
If you guys want a hentai
though-
special, though, just let us know.
That
If
would
we
be a
ever
good
have a-
episode.
If we ever have an episode about legendary dubs, I'll definitely have to mention Bible Black.
Ooh.
Because,
That,
oh, my God. The dub of that is hilarious. There is a visually safe for work video version of some clips of it on YouTube under one of those like best anime dub ever titles, and yeah, it's pretty amazing. It definitely sounds like they got whichever delivery drivers got their Chinese food order that day to do voice acting.
just whoever was there. But
It's beautiful.
it's something else.
Yeah, like if you think regular mainstream anime has low budgets for dub, just imagine how low the budget is for like weird hentai shit.
Oh,
like
yeah.
How low
Oh,
can you
yeah.
go?
Yeah.
Basically. But I mean,
But on to real answers, I'm pretty sure now.
But on the flip side of
Yeah.
terrible dubs, I just want to argue that dubs have skyrocketed quality lately.
Yeah.
And one of the answers
Easily.
was English dub Kill la Kill. And after seeing it, the trailers at the Anaplex panel, I could definitely say for sure. After Gurren Lagann, they better put Kill la Kill on Toonami, or they're like making a mistake.
I think it's almost
God, yeah.
like probable that that's going to happen given how quick the dub of Attack on Titan got on there.
yeah.
Like after Attack on Titan in terms of popularity, right now it's like Attack on Titan and then Kill la Kill right under that.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's probably going to happen next.
And also, like, man, that once again, just that dub is amazing. Every character sounds just so good. Like that the dub trailer gave me chills. Like it's very, very well done. And I would think that they'd be missing out if they weren't putting this on TV and somewhere in America.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just blew me away, and just
Yeah.
I've been a long time dub hater after finding the beauty of subs for a while. I was a long time like the Japanese voices are so much better. And, like
I'm
that's
still kind of a sub snob.
I mean, like that's an okay thing to think, but it's now the time that if you were to reconsider, now is the time, and Kill la Kill would be one of the things to sell you on that.
Yeah.
All right, another theme episode
Absolutely.
after Digimon and Cowboy Bebop. But yeah, we'll talk about that too.
We got tons of episodes planned. Sort of. Not actually planned, but in the works. And then we had an answer from Jan again. For Terraformars.
Yeah. Leave it to Jan to come out with something weird.
Oh, you know this guy too?
I've met him exactly one time a week ago.
You know a lot of clowns.
Yeah.
He knows a lot. Actually, I kind of want to bring him on the show because he knows like every obscure series out right now and like what the next big thing's going to be. He's like, oh yeah, I was reading that like years
Yeah.
ago.
Like
Yeah, he's on top of his game, and from what I've seen of the art of Terraformars, it's
it
beautiful.
looks awesome. Now they're in the process of doing an OVA, and then they're also going to do a television series of Terraformars.
Great.
So now he says he thinks it's unlikely to get a dub. You know what? I think he might be wrong, given how well received it's been in Japan, and given how like everything gets a dub these days. Someone's going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's going to be popular enough to get on Toonami, yeah.
That's probably the more unlikely part.
But I think, if it's well enough received in Japan, it'll probably get a dub.
keep an eye on it, basically.
Yeah.
If you have access to it, keep an eye on it. I've heard only good things from it. And then the last answer was from Cody, and he says, it's a pretty hard question since you have to assume it has to have an English dub to be on Adult Swim or Toonami, right? And I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
They don't do sub stuff on.
No.
But he suggested Get Backers, which is an older series.
But good.
It's a great series, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a classic. It's not like I'd say higher than mid-tier if I was going to rank things. Nostalgic series. From what I've seen, I enjoyed the episodes I watched of it.
Yeah. Get Backers was something that I always heard a lot about and then never watched.
There's one guy who's got he can generate electricity like electric eel. And they literally just get stuff back. They retrieve things, and sometimes objects, sometimes people from kidnappings. It's like a partnership between the main two, and they
really nailed it with that title. Get Backers. But I mean, honestly, you mentioned Cody mentions that it's it's an older series, but if you think about it, Gurren Lagann was 2007?
Yeah.
It's been a long time. 7 years is longer than you can call anything new.
Absolutely.
And I would think that just with the whole policy of bringing dubs to nostalgic series, Sailor Moon Classic getting a new dub, I'm sure maybe somewhere out there, there's people who are just trying to work to get their, older love series that new dub that they deserve, sort of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll see. I think Toonami needs to evolve again because it was in a great place and then it tapered off and it was taken off the air and it finally came back in the Saturday spot. So it has a really late night spot, so it can handle a lot more mature series,
right?
Because it's up so late. But you're having stuff like One Piece and stuff on there that isn't super super mature, and that could easily do well in a weekday spot. But they just don't know. They don't know if they're going to hit their marks yet.
I mean, Cartoon Network in general is just sort of in a weird spot these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, you have stuff in their primetime weekday spot that's definitely, it's for kids, sort of. Regular Show. Regular Show gets away with a lot.
Oh, yeah.
For being in a primetime spot. So for me, it's if Regular Show and even Adventure Time sometimes can get away with that stuff in the primetime areas, why not a One Piece? It might be partially that they want to focus more on their Western series, right? Because
they're just getting the rights for those series and bringing them in, and Saturday, having a Saturday spotlight on those, it's here's what's really cool from Japan, wherever else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's cool for right now. I'd love to see it make a resurgence back on the weekday spot, but you got to keep watching it. You got to keep giving them the ratings. If they have the high ratings, they'll be like, well, I guess we need to put this on all the time and cancel our reality shows. Yes. Please.
Well, I mean, hey, if they're picking up Gurren Lagann, I'm sure that's a market choice as well for them, just to be okay, this is a 7-year-old series. It had a lot of buzz. People that chose the series to go on Toonami probably know a lot about it. If it does, get those ratings, which I'm sure that it will get at least some of what they project, that's a really good sign that they're going to bring other nostalgic things back as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can't believe Gurren Lagann came out 7 years ago.
I know.
I'm just you mean it didn't come out last week? It feels like last week.
I'm still riding the high from that. Yeah. That was,
Yep.
That was a journey. Originally,
it's a fun one.
Originally, we were going to talk more about Gainax this episode, but I think we're going to put that off to next episode so we can focus more on talking about our Otakon experience.
Yes.
Which we will get to now.
Yes. Right
now.
Otakon.
Instant gratification.
Yes. So, Otakon, we're going to hit the cliched, tried and true, good, bad, ugly of this convention as individuals. So Tim, how was your Otakon?
Well, do we all just want to talk about the good?
I guess we'll do good first.
Yeah, let's all just talk about the good. Let's talk about what was really nice about Otakon. And the new badges are really cool. The hard plastic
I like
badges.
the way that they do the badges this year.
Yeah. They are more secure this way. They're just I don't feel like I have a flimsy loose piece of paper and a lanyard that I'm just gonna want to drop somewhere. It's nice. It's just a small touch. You never think.
Yeah, it was the first little thing that made me think, oh, this classed up a bit, didn't it?
It's now I'm at a fancy convention. All right.
I can tap this and it makes a little click click noise.
Hey.
Hard plastic. Yeah.
I felt like staff was on top of their game during most of the weekend. I can get to the rest of that later, but I don't recall any like traffic wasn't as bad as it's been in years before. There was one area I definitely walked into, and I was like, I can like move around in here, and I never can. I believe it was the game room. The game room was like nice and open and just like
they set up those like waist high barriers all over the place.
Yeah.
Which really, like, why didn't they do this before? Like, why did it take them so many fucking years in the Baltimore Convention Center to finally figure out no one pays attention to tape on the floor? You actually have to set up a little curtain running down the middle of the hallway on that skywalk bridge so that people can actually get through there.
Yeah.
That was the least congested I have ever experienced that particular section.
Yep.
Running between, I guess, the Pratt Street and the Charles Street areas.
Yeah, the two major hubs at the convention center. Also, it just felt like they knew what to do. They finally have learned what to do with their space a little bit. So they're getting on a better idea of what to do with the Baltimore Convention Center, which it's like about time, really.
Yeah, like 3 years before they have already announced they're leaving. So
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Ian, what do you think? What was really good?
Ah, man, it's been... I was trying to remember when the last Otakon I went to was, if it was the one 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Like, my memory of the past Otakon is pretty hazy. But, just coming back was just... I think that was honestly my best part of Otakon this year was just, coming back to it as kind of a different person and seeing what the con was. And I wouldn't say that the con has like grown up with me or anything sentimental like that, but it's still a good con and I still got a lot out of it. Like, are we separating what we're talking about like with Artist Alley and Dealer's Room stuff to later?
Yeah, we'll save that for a second.
Yeah. Because, no, like, Artist Alley is definitely the highlight of Otakon for me always. And, hey, it was pretty dang good this time around.
Yeah, we'll talk more in detail about, like, what we found for highlights for that. But, yeah, definitely one of the highlights was Artist Alley and Dealer's Room. And it's just like, I walked in and I had space to breathe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had Dante Bosco sitting there. You could go get an autograph of Dante Bosco and
Right.
Dealer's Room. It's great.
Yeah, I guess good for me. It was a pretty like pleasant Otakon. Like, again, the congestion issues that have been such a problem in the past have largely been resolved. Not entirely, which I'll get to in a minute, but for the most part in, I guess, problem areas that have been like such a pain beforehand that makes you, dread walking from one end of the convention center to the other.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff was largely resolved. I mean, the thing about Otakon for me, this was my 12th Otakon. So, I got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe not since last Otakon. So, and the weather was so nice. The weather was perfect. Holy shit.
Wow.
Speak for yourself.
It was. It's never been that reasonable. Like,
yeah, it was like 80
Well, okay, I guess
and
that's
partly
fair. That's
cloudy
fair.
the whole time.
no rain.
Yeah, it
Right.
threatened. Like, we all kind of thought it might on Saturday, and then
I
it
brought
didn't.
my umbrella, but it didn't,
It huffed and puffed
Good.
and went
Yeah.
away. But yeah, it wasn't like 100 degrees. It's been like I've been Otakons where I was like, I'm melting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad.
not that Otakon had anything to do with the weather, but that was a really nice.
It was
you
nice
know,
weekend.
It adds,
side
it adds
note.
to the weekend.
It was a nice
It's like,
weekend.
Yeah, experience thing. Yeah.
I think something that I really appreciated as a big anime nerd and as a big baseball nerd, I didn't hear of like any sort of butting heads between the Orioles people, like the baseball fans who were in town for the series against the Cardinals, and then the anime people.
I didn't hear them butting heads, but I did hear my girlfriend overheard like Orioles fans trying to process what was happening this
Oh,
weekend.
sure.
And
Which is always fun, though. That's just curious.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, curiosity is to be expected. Like, why are all these people dressed this way?
But the biggest thing she overheard was that they kept comparing Otakon to BronyCon.
Oh, yeah.
They thought it was just like the same people, and they're like, where do they all come from?
That's the downside to being back-to-back weekends with BronyCon.
Yeah, they're like, they just didn't go away. What is this? How are there so many people?
It's like a con hydra. They killed one head, but it just comes back.
2 anime heads with kawaii eyes came out of the stump. But yeah. But yeah.
One a horse and the other a girl's tits.
In a school uniform. But they also said we were more well-behaved than BronyCon. So props to Otakon for being more put together.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because in past years that Otakon has been up against a home Oriole series, I've definitely seen or heard of, people getting into like shitty bickering arguments with each other over like nothing. It's cool. You're a sports fan. You're wearing a sports jersey. You're honoring your team by wearing that team's stuff. I'm an anime nerd. I like this series. I'm honoring this series by wearing clothing from this series. It's the same shit.
We're both nerds.
Yeah, everyone's nerds.
I think
the Orioles kicked a lot of ass that weekend, so that was good.
Oh, good. What's great is that what eased tensions that there was a really popular series that had an orange and black uniform, a Haikyuu, I believe it's called, the volleyball anime. A bunch of cosplayers were wearing orange and black, so all Orioles fans were like, yeah, we're right. You're here for us too. And it's like, can't you tell by the hair we're not? Okay.
Okay.
But that was cool.
But yeah, that was something I was sort of concerned about. And the Ravens game, the preseason game, even on Thursday, was that there were going to be so much people, and that if tensions could potentially run a little high between these two different groups of people, and it didn't happen. And I'm really glad to hear that there weren't any incidents.
Sure. And I will say that Otakon actually scheduled photo shoots for cosplayers.
Yes, on
their schedule.
And I went to 3 of them. And they the space was there. There weren't any major conflicts or anything like that. So
the guidebook was awesome. The guide, if you had the guidebook app on the smartphone, it was awesome.
If you had a dumb phone and you were going by like a paper schedule.
It was me.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately. But it always sounds like Otakon's general stuff just, as a net just keeps on getting better. And honestly, even though they're getting better at the Baltimore Convention Center, the fact that they're moving soon, they'll take those lessons with them.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic that they're going to handle the Mount Vernon Convention Center in DC even better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I will say, mentioning guidebook, I want to transition to the bad. There was one thing, before we get to the real bad.
Yeah, the ugly.
The guidebook app told everyone the Artist Alley opened at 2 on Friday, and it actually opened at 1. So, my girlfriend Steph had her table open at 1, and she was just sitting there where is everybody?
Yeah. I think that had more to do with the art show itself. Now, I don't know why they wouldn't have been able to just shut off that part of that room. But I had some friends have some pieces in the art show, the art auction, which they did very well. So I'm very happy for them to have been able to make some money off of their incredible work.
Oh, Ian, we didn't go to the art show.
I did.
Oh, you did go. I didn't go to the art show.
Yeah, you're the terrible one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So more on that when we get to specifically talking about Artist Alley, dealer's room. But yeah, Ian, anything not so hot for you?
Well, man, I feel like I fell out of practice with Otakon coming back. I love the experience of coming back, but then I realized that, didn't listen to our con survival tips. I didn't take a look at the schedule enough, and I didn't plan around things, and, I lost a lot of time, I feel, just thinking about, things that I wanted to go to, and then just not being able to coordinate well enough to go to them.
Yeah.
That's my personal mistake. But other than that, the industry panels, I feel most of them need to step up their game. They don't feel like industry panels as much as they feel like just, there's a guy and he's been sent to this convention and he will talk at you for a bit, play some videos, not make you very hype about things. And especially Tim and I went to the Crunchyroll panel first, and Like, what? That was two people just sitting talking about what they're watching this season, maybe show off a trailer, and not really have any arc to their presentation at all. Like, we left early because that was so disappointing.
Yeah, I hear that a lot of the panels, like even beyond some of the industry panels, just like didn't go in with a game plan.
Yeah, it kind of fell flat.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the Anime News Network panel, and I love their website, but their panel was really, really lackluster.
Their panel was awful.
It was like, it wasn't so much a panel as it was like, here's who we are, ask us questions. Like, okay, if it's going to be a Q&A, specify that it's a Q&A so that you know what it is going into it. Because I was hoping
that way, yeah.
I was hoping that it would be a panel and like, here's what we do and here's how we do it, and like here's our news process, which is different from like a regular, you know, American news website covering American news or even world news. And you know, I was hoping to learn more about, you know, the process, and that just, it didn't happen.
It's unfortunate because like that's not all their fault, unfortunately, because like their editor Zach was like sick in the hospital, and he usually is the public face of their panels and stuff like that. But still, they didn't recover well from that.
Yeah, I mean,
not have a recovery plan.
You would think that they would have like a script to go off of as sort of like a backup plan or like a PowerPoint, like something.
Do they go to a lot of a lot of cons? Do they have a lot of the panels? Like,
I don't know how many panels that they do, but I mean, it's such a major organization. You feel like they would have like maybe had their shit together a little bit better.
Yeah, they get money for doing what they do.
Yeah, like that's their jobs. It's not like if the three of us ran a panel and we were like, you guys want to ask us stuff? Like,
to be honest, that's probably what a panel with us would be. But we would have some other fun stuff too. And going back to industry panels, I remember a few years back, I think I went to an Anaplex panel. No, it was a Funimation panel. And they had like giveaways right in the beginning, like it's like sit down, it's like under your seat you have Haruhi armbands and stuff like that. And they had like goofy stuff, and they like got everyone really hype about it. And you know, I didn't feel like that was a missed opportunity for a lot of companies. I feel like they're like, we can't afford like giveaways.
Yeah.
But Anaplex did one, but I didn't want any of their prizes.
Yeah, the Anaplex one was such a like transparent. Well, we gave you raffle tickets, so you're gonna stay till the end. And it was just one guy talking about the DVDs, like they're gonna release, of course, without mentioning the prices, because that would turn everyone off. Bamboo Dong from ANN tweeted a wonderful thing, which was that the guy that kept on raising the Blu-ray that he had bought after the guy mentioned that Blu-ray had been released, like the guy owned every single Blu-ray that was being presented.
Yeah.
He was
like, I just bought
very
it.
much he was very much a plant, or he was just made of money.
Yeah.
Like
and none of those DVDs discussed were prizes. None of them. It was
none of them.
The Sword Art Online light novel. I don't want that.
Right.
No.
Autographed, sure, but you know, they know where the money is and they're not giving out stuff out. So
yeah, it was just like, oh, come on. But yeah, that's not too bad.
I thought the game room was kind of lame.
Well, I was initially going to say part of good is that, they had an indie game section. But then I remembered it was definitely part of bad. I wouldn't say ugly, but
Tim
it was...
and I,
wasn't
Tim and I
great.
did a little, we took that opportunity to attempt our games journalism a little bit. And we went around, and I think, well, Tim, you played one of them, and we looked at a couple more, and we talked to two of the guys that headed the games, and just, they need to bring more promising indie developers.
Yeah, the first day we went there...
Yeah. You don't need to bring big ones. Just, kind of screen their project to make sure it's not, trash.
I saw a flyer for like a big indie games event they had after the con, but it would be nice if they had something more substantial at the con, because they had a bunch of indie developers that like weren't even featuring their stuff there. Like the guys doing Crypto the Necrodancer, which is actually a bigger indie title. They weren't actually showing off their game there, but they were at like a post like indie game meetup afterwards. Why don't you just bring your game to it?
Right.
But instead, like some of the games was like they were all like they're like mobile games, and they were all pretty lackluster. Like they would get one thing right, be like, "Oh, cool! Like this game looks really pretty," but then I'd play the gameplay and I'd be like, "What?"
Just everything's broken and just like, oh god.
Yeah, the game room in general, like, for such an enormous convention, like, why can't they get their video game room together? Like,
it's all fighting games for the most part.
It's all fighting games. Like, last year they had pachinko, which was really cool.
Ooh.
This year they did not have pachinko.
Did they have tournaments?
I think they did, but, like, they were all fighting game tournaments. I didn't give a shit about any of them. I mean, I know it's another convention, but, like, you would figure they would maybe partner with MagFest a little bit on the game room.
Yeah.
Because MagFest is a game room.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what their con is.
They have so many arcade machines, and Otakon had, like, 6, and it was, like, old DDR and, like, 1 Taiko machine. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally, I went in there once, I walked around, I did like 2 laps, and I was like, holy shit, this is so lame.
Well, what I heard is that they had free Magic drafts, though. A few of my friends did free Magic the Gathering drafts, and
Okay.
they got free, very, very rare, expensive cards.
Yeah.
So that's cool for them.
That's cool if you play Magic.
It's cool to play Magic,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was kind of a long, long wait for that. But it was something that they haven't done in a long time, and they actually brought
Okay.
back for this con. So that was a cool side of that, but
Yeah.
otherwise pretty disappointing in that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pay much to, like, the tabletop scene there, but as far as, like, the actual video gaming, it was just, you know...
It's lacking.
It was really
It's
lacking. Like,
Yeah.
But
I would hope that in the future maybe they partner with some of the MagFest crew or try and get access to those sort of arcade machines, because I don't give a shit about console fighting games at a convention. I can play console fighting games at home. I
Right.
want to play something at a convention that I can't play at home.
yeah, like more like imports and whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like since they're moving to DC, they might have a better chance of partnering with MagFest. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But nothing there was ugly. Let's get to ugly. You know what was ugly? Thursday
Thursday.
night.
God, Thursday night.
So
It's supposed to be so much easier to show up Thursday night, right? That's what everyone heard. That's what you guys heard, right? That's why we went on Thursday night, right?
it turns out when you put an attendance cap on your con, everybody wants to pre-register.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, this was not an Otakon problem, because Otakon didn't really do anything super different this year than they did in previous years. We've had attendance caps in previous years. We've had a vast majority of pre-registrations over regular at-door registrations in previous years. What was ugly was the convention center itself and how the convention center was able to handle registration this year, which was very shittily.
Yeah.
The internet went down, their servers went down at some point, and then instead of recovering when they noticed a line was growing, they were just like, we'll tell them later.
Yeah, it seemed also as though Otakon wasn't getting the same sort of support from the convention center as far as technical stuff as they had been in previous years.
Yeah.
Not as much technically,
That's very true.
and not as much staff as they usually have. I think they were short-staffed as well.
Yeah.
So Thursday night was just a debacle. People, they stayed until like midnight taking people.
Yeah. Now, they sent out a press release on Friday morning that said, that was basically a 2-page apology.
It was a huge apology,
It was a huge apology. And it also specifically addressed numbers. It was like, hey, in all these previous years, we've basically been able to process 16,000 to 17,000 pre-registrations on Thursday night.
Right.
And usually it's not an issue, and we're able to get everybody who wants to get through within the hours that we usually post. This year, because of technical issues, they were only able to do 10,000. Now that's like a 7,000 person difference.
Yeah.
Which added then
Yeah.
to the lines on Friday morning.
All of them were in the line, in the building still.
Yeah.
Not being processed. People were still in the line until like 10:30, 11, and they're finally like, guys, go home.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Definitely not fun. I mean, I was able since I was press, I didn't have to deal with it. But everybody who I was rooming with had to deal with, and all of my other friends at the convention were dealing with it. But I can sympathize, because I went to a little convention known as Anime Boston in a year called 2008. Where I lost my entire Friday to the registration line. I stood in line for 9 hours.
Jeez.
That's ugly.
Yeah.
That is
That-
pretty bad. Yeah.
that's
Like
that is truly
I
ugly.
think I
Yeah.
think the Otakon line maxed out at about 4.5 hours. Maybe a little bit more depending on what day you went and when you got in line. I mean, standing in line isn't any fun, but
No.
one lost a third of their convention, or really half of their convention when it comes right down to it, between Friday and Saturday to their line. It obviously could have gone a lot worse, and ultimately it wasn't an Otakon staff created problem. It was a Baltimore Convention Center created problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But anything else ugly?
I really can't think of any.
No, nothing too ugly. I think that was the ugliest. I mean, there was some, more bad, not quite ugly stuff for me.
I have unconfirmed ugly. I have
Unconfirmed ugly.
Oh, that's.
rumors spread wildly while we were on the 4th floor of the convention center Saturday night that because it's a big gathering of like Homestuck. I won't talk about it here.
Save it for the Homestuck episode.
Right, my favorite anime.
There you go. There's your theme episode.
When they're gonna launch an anime, I'm telling you. But they had a few runners of this big get together, and they kept saying it's like, oh, there's a curfew for Baltimore, like everyone get out, and it's like that curfew only applies to 16-year-olds
Yeah.
and younger. And then it was like, and then people are getting punched and stabbed. Cosplayers are getting stabbed, so we want everyone to go home with a buddy and blah blah blah. So like, I don't know. I didn't check the news the next day if anyone actually got stabbed or not.
That would have been all over the news if that had actually happened. Otakon is one of like the largest event that Baltimore hosts.
So basically, don't trust the rumors unless you see like a big news article. It's like cosplayer stabbed somehow fits with their cosplay, but
Yeah, like from a legitimate like Baltimore news source like The Sun or like WBAL,
Yeah,
like
someone-
something like that. Like, don't trust Tumblr for this sort of shit.
right. But it's just like it's a pain in the butt having me like they always kick people out early from the convention center. There's other cons I go to that are like 24 hours
Right.
that are fun, but they can't do that.
They
in
can't do that
Baltimore.
in Baltimore. They can't do that at a convention center. Like, it's one thing if it's in a hotel, which is running 24 hours anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
you
right,
can't you can't do that at a convention center that has like specific set hours.
But nothing else too ugly.
Yes.
There's just
Speaking,
rumors.
yeah, that's-
speaking of photo shoots, so I went to 3 of them, and for the most part they were really good. But I think, particularly in certain big fandoms that I participate in, Digimon, Toho Project,
You're right.
certainly
That's huge.
certainly a huge one. I feel, because I've been attending these things for years, and I feel like these gatherings are starting to get a little bit stale.
Yeah.
Because the same people have been doing them for years now, and they haven't changed anything. And now I'm not really like, as much as I love Toho Project and as much as I love Digimon, I'm not so much, super excited to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to that. Usually it's people that I know who are involved in running these things. But as much as I love these people, I also would love to see these things sort of change hands, if that makes sense. Because, when I set time out of my schedule to go to one of these gatherings rather than going to a panel or a showing, a viewing of something, and it's just like, oh, it's the same shit as it's always been, sort of thing.
Well, the biggest way to mix it up is bring different costumes, but the biggest thing is that organizers tend to do it right one time. Everyone's like, well, they got it.
Right.
I don't want to compete with that. And there's probably ways to make photo shoots more interesting for people instead of just like, wait your turn to get a picture with the group and by yourself. But I don't know, fan organized events within the convention that aren't panels or workshops or anything like that.
It's tricky.
It's tricky, but now they have a spot on the schedule.
Yeah.
Possibly could be something bigger for next year.
Yeah.
So it's something to consider. If you are an organizer of like fandom shoots and all that, consider mixing it up, hand out snacks or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like, or, tell us about your experience in running something like that. Because obviously it's not easy, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's easy to run a huge shoot like that. But when it's like the same shit every single year, every single convention, and it's the same people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It becomes boring as opposed to like a highlight of the convention. It's just like, oh, well, I had to do this.
Yeah,
sort
I
of.
wore my costume. I wanted people to see it, so I had to go to the same shoot, and the same people were there.
Right.
And I'm still not friends with them, so
Right.
something's wrong. But, that's something to consider. But, outside of fandom celebration, stuff like that, I think we watched a few new series. Instead of stuff that we've already been into, I think we watched a few new things. I actually watched something I already love, but the dub of One Piece Film Z was premiered at Otakon.
That's cool.
And they have a Blu-ray coming out for that. And I want to say I was floored by who they casted for this movie because they really stepped up their dub game. Like, this is why this movie was like, I was like, Kill la Kill is like one thing, and I was like, okay, maybe that's an anomaly, whatever. Maybe dubs aren't getting better. I don't know. One Piece Film Z is like, wow, they nailed every character. Everyone had a perfect voice, and there's a song that comes out through most of the movie. And if you're worried about the song, if you've seen like the Japanese version of the movie and you're worried about the song, don't worry about the song. It's real. It'll make you cry just like it did in Japanese. It was a really fun because the whole theater was booked. It was the whole fourth floor theater, and it's like this huge room, and everyone was there. It felt like the opening of like Guardians of the Galaxy or something. It felt like everyone was there for that, and I felt like big, like spirit of camaraderie in that, and everyone just being like, yeah, these voices are great. Like, I love this. And the main villain talked like this, boy. Hey, you. Just like, it was great. The villain character is like the most important, and he was like this old geezer guy, and it's just it like perfect interpretation of it. It was good. It's very good.
Carrie?
Yeah, I watched the first couple episodes of Ace of Diamond.
That's the baseball one.
Yeah, it manages to combine baseball and anime into baseball anime.
That's the perfect thing for you.
It is, actually. I was pretty impressed. I mean, the story sort of cliche sort of thing, but the animation is actually really high quality, I thought, as far as like really nailing the motion of the athletes themselves, particularly the main character, whose name I cannot remember right now. It was something generic sounding, I think. But like when he pitches, it really looks, authentic. What I thought was funny about that character is he's like, oh, I throw nothing but fastballs, but like he's actually throwing breaking balls, and he has no control over where his pitches are actually going. So it's really difficult for whoever is, his battery mate, to actually be receiving, because they're just going to be like, well, I'll set up here, but he's not necessarily going to hit here, sort of thing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you know what studio worked on that series?
Let me check. What should be something surprising like Studio Dean?
That would be surprising.
Yeah, Studio Dean is the worst.
Hey, all these sports animes getting, really good animation.
It's Madhouse.
That's a trend. Madhouse. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So
yeah, that's solid.
Yeah, no, I was that might be something, because I mean the anime series has been running since October of last year.
Yeah.
So there's like 43 episodes out now, so I need to like hop on Crunchyroll and watch all of it.
Sports series are big right now, and I think we should dedicate a lot of time talking to that at one point, because there's been a few sports series hit or miss in the past, and then recently it's just been like,
I mean,
it really feels like
it's really taken off between like Free and Haikyuu, and then what's the fucking basketball one?
Kurosaki Basket.
Yeah.
Kuroko
no basketball.
Kuroko, yeah.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Yowamusha pedal, I guess, counts as well.
Biking does count.
Yeah.
Gay bikes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're back to gay
The
bike.
bikes are gay. The bikes are gay.
The bikes
actually.
are gay.
That's the twist. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think all of these sports shows have an appeal beyond, if you're interested in baseball like I am, you're probably going to be more interested in Ace of Diamonds than you would be otherwise.
Or you come in for the characters and you're like, hey, I learned something about baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's really good, and yeah, like the fact that the main character is like this fireball pitcher with like zero control over where his pitches are actually going. I'm just like, I've seen that before. Like,
It's really realistic. Yeah.
yeah.
There's some built-in sports-specific character development for you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And
I did not watch anything new, unfortunately.
Ian.
I guess I watched Tim watch the new episode of JoJo on his phone in the hotel while he was hunched over. Yeah, that was an interesting
you
thing
actually
to watch.
watched it when it came out this weekend?
I have the Crunchyroll app on my phone.
I waited until today. I was like, I waited until I got home from work, and I was like, now I'll have time to watch it.
No, I had time in the room. I wasn't doing shit. So I pull out my phone. My phone's got a big screen. So I just sat there. Episodes out.
You haven't lived until you've seen Tim's like dying tree figure like drooling all over his big phone, like watching JoJo on a phone.
That is the most accurate metaphor to my body type I've ever heard.
A withering tree.
Yes, basically. But yeah, I was just giving Ian the play-by-play the whole time. It was like he was.
Yeah, God.
It was like he was watching right with me. But
The baby is the stand user.
yeah,
It's the baby. He shit his pants. Like,
that was the episode.
that was
Pretty
the
accurate
episode.
to what was happening in that room. Jeez.
Dealer's room.
Dealer's room.
Dealer's room, artist.
I went to the dealer's room a total of 2 times.
I went there a few times.
I didn't even get in there until Saturday. I was so busy on Friday with cosplay stuff.
I bought some One Piece figures.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
No, not at all. Specifically, though, what'd you get? Is it this stuff on the floor over here?
Yeah, there's a few of them over there. There's one on my desk too. For those who know One Piece, I got a figure of Crocodile because he's amazing. Trafalgar Law, I got a figure art zero of him, and I got Dragon, a small $10 figure of Dragon D. Luffy, who's a revolutionary. Or no, sorry, Monkey D. Dragon. Oh God, I'm just a One Piece fan was just going to destroy me for that. Monkey D. Dragon. So yeah, some cool characters. Very cool action poses and stuff like that. The one thing I noticed in Dealer's Room is that you have to pay attention if you're a figure buyer. I think I'll spend some time talking about this at one point, but I've been learning here bits about figure collecting, and that you have to be very careful of bootlegs.
Yeah.
Bootleg figures are rampant. I saw one booth that had exclusively bootlegs because none of them had the right sticker identifying that they were from the official company. There was one booth that clearly had them and one that clearly didn't. So, and all the prices were lower at the other one. Surprise, surprise.
Right.
So I'll talk more at length about figure collecting once I do a little more research, but I've been getting kind of into it. It's a weird hobby I never thought I'd get into.
Very expensive hobby.
Yes. I was like, I'm totally done with action figures. Who cares? But now I'm like, I need a statue of Luffy looking cool.
Kind of looks sweet.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have like those lit up glass display cases just full of One Piece figures.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. But otherwise, Dealer's Room is kind of disappointing in some other areas just because it just wasn't.
I mean, it's the dealer's room.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a carbon copy of itself from year to year to year.
Yeah.
The same figures companies, the same like manga companies, the same body pillow booth that's got stickers over the places that we know.
My friend works at that booth. My
Really?
old roommate works at that booth. That's called Hendane, the one with like the big Yowie flag and like all the body pillows with the stickers on them. And,
Oh, good.
And the
Good.
Can you cut me a deal?
the dojin stuff.
We'll talk after.
Oh, good.
It's funny because like I don't collect dojin. I have some dojin, the featuring characters, like not like hentai stuff. I don't collect that stuff.
No.
The closest I get to hentai is a Toho piece called Miss Yukari, Please Put On Your Clothes. Where she's just like trying to be naked and her servants are like, no, like please put your clothes back on.
It's okay. She's like thousands of years old. It's
yeah,
all right.
it's fine.
There you go.
She's a yokai.
We'll get to that later.
But my old roommate, also conveniently named Tim, he knows I'm a huge Revolutionary Girl Utena fan. So like whenever they find Revolutionary Girl Utena stuff abroad, he was like, yeah, get that stuff because I know a girl who will buy all of it.
Nice.
So I looked at some stuff. I wasn't too keen on the art style, so I didn't end up buying anything. But those guys are super cool. So if you're anywhere in the United States, because they go to cons all over the country, and you're like, I'm really a big fan of this series. Do you think you'll be able to get it by this convention later in the year? They might be able to get it for you.
Cool.
So
Sometimes you can get a good deal at Dealer's Room.
sometimes you can.
Sometimes just going up there and like being certain of what you want and telling them exactly what you want, they appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian joined me on a journey to pick up a Supersonico figure for one of my friends.
Yeah. How did that
The friends
go?
were us. We got Supersonicos for each other.
No, that's not the story.
The Supersonicos are married now, as are we.
Is that how that works?
No.
Think so.
I had a friend hand me a wad of money and say, buy me like a big titty figure, make it a Supersonico. And we went in there and I just like...
This friend was female. Too. And she's engaged. She's
she's engaged. Like, it's okay. Like, do not have
man,
shame. If you want to have your big titty figures, like, whatever.
she can go right ahead
I
and
have
do
a big
it.
titty
Yeah.
figure. It's all right.
Her figures are past just big titties. Like she has one that's like gargantuan titties. It's like they look like they're going to like erode. Like
This woman clearly has scoliosis level
Yeah.
titties.
Oh yeah.
more like her spine is in
jeez.
pieces. So we found a really good Supersonico, and then I went to the booth and I was like, hey, can I have that for 35? And he was like, you can have it for 32. And I was like, all right.
All right.
I pieced out with that. So
Like, I didn't buy anything in the dealer's room this year because I think I've grown out of just like buying things straight from a vendor. But I went with Tim on that excursion, and I also went to pick up like three like Persona 4 figures, like in those little boxes.
Yeah, the blind boxes.
Another friend of
Blind
mine.
box figures.
Yeah, the blind boxes. Like, I got the buying experience. Like, just find, if you want to have that buying experience, like if you still think that's fun and just explore the dealer's room, like have a reason to, find artist friends who are at the artist alley and can't go anywhere, and then offer to get them something from the dealer's room if they're looking for something.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to give you your money, and then you get to have that little exploration. You get to pay for the thing, but you don't have to spend any of your own money.
Yeah.
Like, it's still fun to explore, I think, but like...
Yeah, the dealer's room is
prices.
always an interesting experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting.
And
is the
I
word.
thought, I like the way that they have it set up where you have like the industry area of things. And there was some interesting stuff in the industry area. I spent some time at Viz's booth. Viz has a lot of stuff that I really like. They're redoing Ranma 1/2 again. They're putting Ranma. They're putting Ranma on Blu-ray. So they had the Ranma Blu-ray sets there, which were just like packaged really, really nicely, and of course they were very expensive.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna wait. They also had some stuff that otherwise isn't coming out until like October, November at their booth. Then to buy right then, they had like Pokemon Adventures or Pokemon Special manga box set right then. It wasn't at a discount. I was hoping that they would be like, yeah, if you buy it now, it's only 50 instead of 60, in which case I would have been like, here's my money, I'm taking this set. But they, like, the thing about the industry side, you can't really haggle with them at all.
I will say Kinokuniya had a really good booth.
Yes.
Because their prices are always way better than anywhere else you can find anywhere else. They get like direct imports of Japanese books, art books, manga, etc. And they're like, I found like all these great art books. I was like, oh, and they're all like super cheap too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you go to New York City, Kinokuniya is a bookstore.
And their cafe is also excellent in New York.
Yeah, that is a store worth checking out if you're into.
Sounds awesome.
They have figures too and other stuff. They
Yeah.
have lots of cool stuff.
I like to go to Kinokuniya and buy like a month's worth of melon bread. Just like buy every piece of melon bread that they have, and then like eat it all in the same day, and then feel really bloated and disgusting.
Can you buy a figure at the cafe and then have lunch with it alone?
Yes.
Yes.
You actually can.
No judgment, right? Yeah.
You're all set for your next trip, Ian.
Yes.
That's the market.
Dealer's room. I managed not to break the bank this year.
Good. But what about the artist
That's
alley?
always good.
Well, I haven't talked about my dealer's room experience yet.
Oh, what did you buy?
I bought a JoJo, and it's all your fault.
Yes.
I bought a Jotaro super action statue.
It's one of the posable ones, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't have a JoJo figure unless it's posable.
Yeah. I was really looking for Star Platinum stuff, and the only Star Platinum stuff that I could find was like non-posable statues, and they were gorgeous,
Right.
but non-posable. And I was really torn between Dio and Jotaro, and I thought the Jotaro one looked better.
That's
so I
fair.
went Jotaro. Now, Jay, our producer, accompanied me through the dealer's room on my first trip.
Oh, good.
So he got that experience of just being very overwhelmed and confused because he had never been in the Otakon dealer's room. He'd never been to Otakon before.
Yeah.
But he had
What's
never
an anime?
Yeah. he was cosplaying as confused black man.
Yeah.
So one of the first booths I saw when I got in there had a small statue that I would sacrifice my soul for, but didn't want to spend money on.
Okay.
Which was a Digimon statue.
Of course it was.
It was.
Of course it was.
Yamato
Yeah.
holding Gabumon, and it was like one of the 15th anniversary statues that they did. And I was like, I need this. And then like I looked at the price tag, and I was like, this is too much money. It was like $80, and I was like, I'm gonna put this down. I'm going to walk away.
Nice.
That same booth had some Digimon keychains though, which were also part of like the 15th anniversary. So I bought some keychains,
There you
which
go.
was like my Digimon
Yeah.
fix without completely brooding my budget.
Nice.
So yeah, I was pretty proud of myself for like not completely
Yeah, I didn't
spending
destroy the
all of
budget.
my money this year. Yeah.
I could have easily broke the bank, but I didn't. And it's nice when you go to a dealer's room and you see all the cool stuff and you're like, I don't need that right now.
Yeah. Just back away.
I still regret not buying that Digimon figure. I'm like, oh, I could have had that.
It's probably online.
It's
Don't-
probably online. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But let's go over to Artist Alley.
Artist Alley was great.
Artist Alley this year was really fantastic. They've really managed it well. Artist Alley staff has been good to the artists there, and tons of amazing artists from all over, from California to local artists.
Yeah.
Everybody. Ian, you had a purchase at the Artist Alley.
Yes, I finally was able to meet an artist that I've talked to on Twitter, Tumblr, Skype. Like we met ages ago in the pony fandom, and we still talk now. And but I've never met her in person before. And she goes by the handle Shaberties on Tumblr and Twitter, and she's I believe she's an animator at Guru Studio right now. But yeah, just like that's one of the great things about the Artist Alley is just finally meeting great artists or like finding new artists. Like I picked up a lot of business cards just for people to like fill my Tumblr feed forever. Just like inspiring stuff, like people bringing their art. And yeah, I got this Madoka Magica print from her that I've been wanting for like a year and a half since she first put it on Tumblr. And just that was, I mean, like that's another definite highlight of my con. Like just meeting an artist I really love and just getting time to talk with her.
And you kept that print pristine. You got a cardboard box and everything. You were like,
Holy shit.
keep it safe.
Yeah, I called the UPS store. Right.
Did you really?
Because there was a UPS store in the Hilton,
Oh,
and so I
okay.
went. And yeah, I went over and I was like, and the guy was so receptive. He was like, yeah, the poster is this long. All right, let's just flatten this cardboard box, and I'll tape the bottom and the sides. And like, it was my own little, like, DIY portfolio folder. Like, I have kept it pristine. Like, this is one of those things that I'll make wall space for, you know?
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we have figures. He has art. That's fine.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
have a mix of the two.
I
Yeah.
saw. I made a small Artist Alley purchase.
What'd you get?
I got a couple of buttons from a friend of mine, actually one of my coworkers.
Oh, nice.
you
She's
go.
super talented.
You should plug her handle online. Or whatever.
You can find her at Inverts on Tumblr, and I don't know her like store envy, but I think she links it on her Tumblr page. So INVERTS Inverts. So her art is just really, really gorgeous. She has a lot of really cool original stuff. But she and I like to gush over Utena at work when we
Nice.
work together. So she had two different buttons. She had an Utena button and an Anthe button, and I was like, here is my money, let me get these. So she was making them right there, as far as like her button press goes. So they were fresh.
Nice.
So yeah, that was it. There was a lot of Utena stuff. And I just
Utena, like, seems to have made a resurgence. Like,
when
in
Sailor
popularity.
Moon
I have
came
no idea
back,
why.
everyone remembered.
I think that
Like,
really brought it back.
I
sort of
think
thing?
I
Like,
think
just
when they made it was a number of things. I think Utena came back one because Ikuhara was involved in Sailor Moon, and when they were like, "Hey, we're doing Sailor Moon Crystal, we're doing all this new Sailor Moon stuff," people were like, "Oh yeah, Ikuhara. He also did this other thing that was really good."
That probably
That I think had somewhat to do with it. But the other thing is, a couple years ago, they did a remastered DVD set of the entire series.
Oh, that.
So I think
okay, that would do
that
it,
had a
yeah.
lot to do with it. Where it was like three different box sets.
Although they had more Utena, I will say that the one complaint I heard from one friend was that they didn't have not enough artists had Final Fantasy artwork, which is really strange because that's been big for a long time. And I think Final Fantasy's...
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about Final Fantasy.
Well, these always happen in trends,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You know?
I think,
Yeah.
it's interesting
So-
noting some trends like that.
See,
Yeah,
my issue is like, I've got wall space, but I am terrified of buying prints at like Otakon. I got a lot of business cards, and what I'll probably do is I'll order prints.
Yeah.
So that I know they'll get to my house okay, and they can go straight up on the wall, and I won't have to worry about it.
That's why you ain't got the box, though.
Yeah, well,
I'm doing that cardboard box trick
It works.
for every con now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like $2 or something for a box,
Yeah.
and you're good.
yeah. I mean, I definitely I spent a lot of time like looking at art and being very impressed by a lot of art.
Yeah.
And collecting business cards. So now that I can go back and order that art.
Yeah, that's one of the best
So-
things with Artist Alley is that you can pick up a card, try to get their work online later.
Yeah.
And just to wrap up the Artist Alley section, I'll say if I wanted to plug everyone I wanted to plug in the Artist Alley, we'd have another half hour on the show.
Yeah.
So,
But your lady was there.
yeah,
So you
my-
can
You
plug
got a lot
her.
of unique experience.
but I will say that my girlfriend was in the Artist Alley.
Carrie, how dare you? Wait, hold on. PG-13.
So Final Arcanum, if you check that out, is a webcomic, and she had all her she had her fandom prints too, like Kingdom Hearts and Attack on Titan prints and all that. But then she had her webcomic, and like she had new display, new website, cool stuff. She
Yeah,
did
her booth looked really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she did her
real professional.
she did our logo, and she has her own work, so
Yeah.
check her out. And she was tabling with another friend of mine, Michelle, who does Avis Demon, which is getting really popular recently. Yeah, check it out because who knows, Avis Demon might end up being in the dealer's room next year if they keep getting as big as they are.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, but that's not anime.
Yeah. Well, the art show, which was a little separate. I know you didn't get a chance to, Tim.
No, I didn't get to
but,
look.
There was some really interesting stuff. I mean, the art show always has some really super high quality stuff, and then some stuff where you're like, why is this here?
But let's celebrate. though.
Yeah,
Like,
so
did you find something super good?
Yeah. Well, I had some friends do a couple different things. One of my friends did cross stitches
Okay.
and like put them in nice frames and stuff like that, and all of those sold. And one of them actually went to live auction.
Wow.
At the end of the show,
Nice,
she
nice.
did. I think the one that she did of Mr. Saturn. From
from
Earthbound,
yeah.
with the Mr. Saturn, like the loopy text and whatnot. I think it says, "Here we are all Mr. Saturn," above a cross stitch of Mr. Saturn himself. I think that was the one that went to live auction. But she also did like a Chrono Trigger cross stitch, which I think almost went to live auction, but she still got a ton of money for.
That's good.
That's really
And
important.
then she did a Sailor Moon one. A lot of Sailor Moon stuff, obviously, in the art show this year. A lot of
obviously.
really good
was-
good stuff.
Sailor Moon Saturday, Otakon Saturday was Sailor Moon Saturday.
I'm kind of pissed I didn't get one of those posters, but at the same time, I'm like,
They had
I ain't
coins,
got,
too.
I ain't got nowhere to put that.
Commemorative coins that you can spend
Now you're pissed because you would have gotten that.
I would have
coin, I'm
gotten
sure.
that coin.
worth
yeah.
$1,000. No, not at all. Bring it to the bank. They'll be like, "We'll give you all of the money."
That would be spectacular.
No, they did have commemorative coins. It was Sailor Moon Saturday. I didn't check out much of that. I don't Sailor anything.
Like in terms of the art show, like I'm like myself. I'm a little bit tired of seeing just so much like on model like fan art, like stuff that's trying to copy a show style, for instance.
Yeah.
Like that that only goes so far. So I really do like finding people with new styles, like interesting styles of their own that they apply to fan art. And wandering around the artist alley gets you a lot of that experience, but also seeing like the things that people are really like proud enough to put into the art show. Like there was, I think my absolute favorite piece. I'm still trying to find the artist's handle because they put their name on like the piece of art itself, like the little tag that lets you bid on it. But I can't find her online. And this piece, I really want to tell her that I really loved it. It was basically like a really nice laid out little graphic of what would be an Usagi school bag.
I know
like,
her.
Just taken out. Yeah, and little, like, it's just, like, nice pastel colors, really nice, like, whimsical, just variety of stuff, like, done in a very, very clean, nice-looking style.
Her handle is Tomato Red.
Tomato Red?
Getting you the hookup.
Oh
there you go.
Lifesaver. Oh, wow.
She actually went to college with a close friend of mine. So she went to Micah. Local pride for Micah.
Well, yeah, there you go.
So you can find her at tomatored.tumblr.com.
Awesome.
And the top post right now is a photo of Usagi's school bag.
Yes.
So
nice.
Awesome.
Saving the day.
But in general,
Yeah.
let's just talk. Let's wrap up Otakon in general. Good con.
Good con.
Thumbs up.
Good con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely some hiccups line-wise. I know people weren't happy with the ticketing thing for the Yoshiki concert, but obviously when it's a ticketed event and it's a sort of random thing of whether or not you're going to get one, it's tough for everybody to be happy out of that. But overall...
Better than last year? That's a big question.
Yeah, that's a really big question. I would say yes, because I think a lot of the little things that they did as far as helping to relieve congestion really, really helped as far as the overall experience. Because at no point did I really feel so claustrophobic in the hallways like I have in previous years.
I would say this year redeemed a lot of what I had trouble with last year with Otakon, so I don't mind them being here in Baltimore for another few years.
Yeah.
Like they owned it this year. And hopefully badge stuff will get worked out. Maybe they'll mail the badges next year. That'd be awesome.
Well, now that they
knows?
have those hard plastic badges that are, you can't counterfeit those, really.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be worth to doing so.
No. So I think they feel secure enough in the badges to where they can mail them out.
Okay.
So, which
Great.
again would then relieve all the stress of the lines.
And it'd be the perfect con. That's all it is.
Done.
Yeah.
Perfect. They've solved everything.
Right.
But yeah, also, I go to Otakon, I think a lot less, definitely a lot less regularly than you, Carrie, but yeah, like less regularly than you, Tim, too, probably.
Yes.
But just, it's nice. Like, I'll never have the same Otakon I had during Weeaboo middle school. But for what it's worth, like, it's a testament to how well they handled that con, that the bad things are only hiccups, and that you still just think about, there's always that bit of you that's like, even if you like want to save money, even if you aren't really big on a con at that moment, you think about Otakon and you think about going. Like, as soon as it pops up on feed again, like, oh, the new dates have been announced, and you're just like,
Yeah, it's in July
Should I make
next
time for
year.
that?
It's a little bit earlier next year.
Yeah. I liked August a little better. Gives me a little more time to breathe, especially if you try to go to San Diego Comic-Con. Gives you like a week or two breathing room.
Yeah.
But this is... it'll work. It'll work.
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
But I'll say that even people who don't go to Otakon still call it not a con weekend. So it's clearly still significant enough. It's like, well, we're not doing that huge thing we used to do.
But we're going to do a small thing on our own at the same time and call it not a con.
That's like anime themed anyway, cosplay anyway. So it's like, clearly it's such a big part of people's lives at this point. Like, it's a huge deal when you don't do something that weekend, if you don't do Otakon that weekend.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's wrap it up for this episode. We have one thing to leave you off with a trailer for an anime that just got announced for manga called Seven Deadly Sins. The Seven Deadly Sins is a new Shonen Jump big series. You know, the next One Piece, the next Naruto. Who knows?
Oh no.
You'll probably see the cosplays all next year. They hold like a little pig. And they have a lot of interesting characters. It's like a different interpretation than like the Full Metal Alchemist Sins, where you have like gluttony and
envy,
pride.
wrath.
Yeah, they have a different. The characters aren't anything like the Sins at all. So you get these really interesting. Like it's all about how someone's reputation precedes them. Like it's this whole villain group and how they get talked about. They're like, it's like, oh, the legendary Seven Deadly Sins, like they're going to destroy us all, blah, blah, blah. And then they go meet them and they're like, hey, what's up? I have a pet pig.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something I'm going to be keeping an eye out when it starts in the fall.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, the promo trailer got me a little hype. I'm going to start reading it and get really into that, and hopefully I'll be able to talk about it soon. We don't have any 5-star reviews this week, at least not that we saw.
If we see them, as we've said, if you submit a 5-star review, we will read it on the show, so you can use it to plug whatever you feel like, whether it's your own podcast or your Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, portfolio, any of that stuff. Or if you just want to tell us a stupid joke.
Right. You just link a picture of your pet. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We will read that picture out loud on air.
We will read the URL. And just check us out on iTunes, Stitcher. You can check Android podcast apps for us as well. A lot of them are putting us on there. So I believe Podcast Republic has all the iTunes ones on for Android.
Or you can just subscribe to our RSS feed.
Yeah, RSS feed. If you have an app that loads up RSS feeds, we have RSS feed. We got Facebook. We got Twitter. We got our own website. We got a YouTube. YouTube's where all the video interviews are. We got a lot of stuff. Just look, Mouthful of Toast. Google it. We'll have all the other links online.
Jay took a ton of pictures during his short Otakon experience. So once he gets those together, we will be linking those on the website and on our Facebook page, facebook.com/mouthfuloftoast. We had a successful first giveaway. So we're going to be doing a second one now that we've hit a substantial amount of Twitter followers at Mouthful of Toast.
We hit 50.
So that'll happen sometime early next week. We will just randomly message one of you. So if you get your little notification from us saying, hey, you won a prize, it's not spam.
Yeah.
It's us genuinely wanting to send you a box of random anime stuff.
It might be a Supersonico, but no, it'll be something cool.
Yeah.
It'll be something nostalgic or interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe one of my One Piece figures. I'll see if I can part with any.
But please follow us, talk to us. We will talk back. We want to talk with you guys. We want to learn more about your feedback. We want to learn what you guys think about the show. We want to learn what you guys want on the show.
Yeah.
We will converse with you. We are not famous enough yet that we can snub people. So take that how you will. Exploit it.
Yes.
Right. All right, guys. Thanks for
think
listening.
That wraps it up, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.